Hi, Suman. Thank you for being with me today. And we have the entire audience listening to you because was actually very impressed by your journey because I saw that you transitioned from a mathematics and economics background to sustainability. Could you just
Mm.
walk us through how was it like, why this transition? I mean, typically you could have ended up in business, but you didn't.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure and delight to be here. And yeah, it is a big leap and it is a big jump, but I think for me, obviously, it was like a process. And I think it started when, in I was in my last year of undergrad and I was constantly thinking about my career opportunities and how I can like build up on whatever I had learned up till that point of like, doing economics and maths. And there were a lot of things that really, I think, pushed me or like sort of made a path for me towards the field of climate change and sustainability. And primary one being my exchange in US. I was doing the semester in Virginia Tech where I was doing a course on sociology and global ethics. And that really like being from I've always been from an engineering and STEM background. So I had always done maths, always done very quant focused studies, and dipping my toes into social sciences and sociology in general was very, very, very inspiring. And I think it also, ge- it also was just like, okay, now I really want to see what else can I explore, combining what I had learned up till now, which were like a lot of quant and mathematical skills, and also social sciences. And I think after that, I was really interested in urban sociology. I've never been like a city girl. I was raised in a small town, so like cities always really like intrigued me in a way that okay, I want to understand how people live life, what affects their lives, and how the structural changes affects their life and all that stuff. So I think that also inspired my interest in urban studies. So when I came back from my exchange, I took a course which was an intersection of urban architecture and climate change. And I think that was like a foundation, like a period of my transition towards sustainability and climate change. And of course, there was also the time when 2022 floods were happened. And yeah, and also I had like a personal, like the place that I had grown up was also a bit affected by it. And there was also like, my family was not, I think, thankfully, we had that privilege of safety and security, but just seeing your community being so affected by climate change and especially the like yeah just like being like okay what we have to do now. And I've always been interested in like social change in general. That also inspired my interest in policy and like structural changes and how policy research can specifically um ignite change. So I think yeah, that was it. I was like okay, now I also wanted to do mixed methods, like pursue mixed methods research. Like quantitative always felt very redundant to me. I felt like it could show you some part of the story, but I was always very inclined towards qualitative research, more like bringing up people's stories, narratives, and um, yeah, and how that can inspire research and certain sort of social change. So I think that was one avenue, like urban studies and climate change, and where I saw myself applying both quantitative and qualitative, like a mixed methods research. And so yeah, and then so when I graduated, I felt like okay, now I have a clear sort of understanding on what I want to pursue and what really, really interests me. And yeah, I think I've always been that kind of person that, okay, I would just do what really interests me and not like, what the trend is going on. Like, because at my time, everyone was doing computer science. I was like, I cannot do computer science.
big on that. Excellent. Like you understood that you could just not ignore the quantitative, but you felt like I want to add more depth and why not bring in the qualitative and Miss Method play really well here. Okay, on to
Yeah.
kind of why Austria? I know you are in a very prestigious program, but I know you
Mm.
comment a lot. You feel very kind of privileged to be here, considering you have come a long way here. Will you walk us through how your experience was like during your application?
I think it was a really, really, really tedious process, of course.
Yeah,
First realizing, okay, what I want to do my master's and where. I always wanted to go back to US, I guess, because I had a really great experience in the university I was in, Virginia Tech, and my professors were also like I was always in touch with them, and they also really inspired me to be like, you should come back for your master's and stuff like that. And I actually wanted to pursue my master's right after my bachelor's, but I realized that it would be too much, and I needed that break to just understand what I want to do with it. For me, it always also has been like I think after graduation, I realized I do want a career in academia in and in research, but in like more like practical policy research rather than um yeah, just like theorizing or like building on theories and stuff. Like, of course, that has some like
yeah,
I don't know inclination. I had some inclination towards it, but like my most
yeah.
inclination was towards policy research. So yeah, I uh, like realized okay, I wanted to do urban studies or urban development or and especially climate change, but where and from like of course like how will I fund it was the main questions in my
Important
brain.
question. Very important question.
Yeah, yeah, and then I think Europe seemed around those times there was also like a lot of political things that were happening, and I talked to quite a few of my friends in US. I talked to quite a few alumni in Europe, and I did my own research in Europe, and I I felt I think amongst all that I felt more inclined towards Europe, especially Scandinavia. So like Netherlands, Denmark, because they have their up to mark research in urban studies, and I really wanted to be a part of it. So I did ended up shortlisting like several places. One was an Erasmus program, another was this program that I'm currently doing,
Yeah.
and then the other one was in Ireland. It was a master's in public policy. So like I applied to all, I think I applied to three programs only, and from the Erasmus one, I didn't have a lot of hopes and expectations, I guess, because I was just wanted to be reasonable and like, okay, this is the amount of, and so had very less experience. Like I had 1 year of experience in social sciences research. So I also was very young at that time. I was 21 when I graduated. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, I think I need to be very practical about all this. And I think I was also very set on that, okay, I need to leave as soon as possible because what I wanted to do required a master's, like what
Yeah.
kind of positions or work I wanted to do what required master's. So, yeah, and I think I was really, really, really lucky that I got to like be student of really amazing professors who are great academics in social science sector. Most of my recommendations came from them, and uh, like also my interest always ignited or like always showed in the class. So they also remembered me when I asked them, okay, like I need a recommendation for this program. Would you be very, very, very kind enough to give it to me? So I think them being very helpful. One of the person that I studied urban studies from, Soha Maktoum, she is a huge like in under urban studies academic situation. So like she also helped me a lot. And then yeah, I think so recommendation letters, I've been really, really lucky. And I think my biggest challenge was writing a motivation letter. And how do I really connect my quant heavy STEM background with like completely social sciences, urban studies, like my aspirations basically, in which I had a very minimal experience it, but like a huge curiosity and um yeah, like a huge desire and curiosity to study it. So, and I think I was very transparent about it in my motivation letter. And I think what I think, I am not sure, maybe there were other things as well, but what I think really helped me was to have my aspirations listed down in micro and macro levels as well. That, okay, if in climate change research, then I particularly want to study sustainable food consumption and its impact on public health, because I had mostly done my research in public health and like why certain universities, and I took my time to like doing research on those studies. And I think with European universities, what I noticed was that European universities are also very, very big on research. Like
Yes.
they're and they quite invest a lot. Like if you go into European Union's funded projects on research, and especially climate change, they fund a lot of research. So you have to be, I think, very precise and also very reflective on what you really want. And for me, it was my job that helped me, and it was also my previous experiences, but it was also like small things. Like for instance, I was watching a documentary on Netflix about like food industries and like sustainability, and I was like, okay, that's interesting, and I read a lot about it. So like, you know, yeah, like I think during that process it was very challenging, but I think constant self-reflection, what I really want to do in long term, and like which was a macro level idea that I wanted to show, and like on micro level what I want to do research in, and being really, really, really like honest and transparent in my motivation letter that I do want to do research back in Pakistan, like somehow, and do like a funded like thing from European and the Union to Pakistan. And that's something I really want to do in future, and I want to pursue that in future because I think I genuinely most enjoy researching in Pakistan. And of course, that's my entire community, that's my home. So I was very clear that I want to bring the experience that I get here. And for Austria, I guess Austria was not my top choice.
Yes.
It
Oh, really?
it was
Okay.
one of the top two choices that I had to list. The program that I'm currently doing, it's called Joint International Masters in Sustainable Development,
Okay.
and it has different partner universities. One is Home University, one is Mobility University. And so we had to choose both home and mobility universities from list of six universities, and we needed to justify why we want these universities. So for me, I chose the home university of Leipzig, and which is in Germany, where I'm currently living now. Um, it was primarily based on a lot of practical stuff. How's the cost of living? Will I get a visa to be there? Is the studies okay? Will I find a job? And like more than I think academics, I was really looking into practicality of things at home university. But for mobility universities, which was like a week or like a semester of an exchange, I was looking mostly into, okay, what is the most I can gain from that experience academically. And I chose and we had to list two universities. One was Utrecht, which is in Netherlands, and other was Graz in Austria, and I chose both of them. And we had Venice, a university in Venice, we had a university in Hiroshima, and so yeah, all of those universities. And
Okay.
I that's what, and then I got assigned um the track in
Uh,
Austria, and then I got to know I was not really happy. Actually, I was like, oh no, like I want really wanted to go to Utrecht because that they had more policy relevant program, I guess. But now that I reflect back, it just was like last few months have been a really, really, truly, truly, truly like an interesting and great experience in terms of learning, in terms of just like academically it was really extensive, but we had best teachers, like best academics in Austria.
Yeah.
especially in realm of sustainability. And I also got to like also represent a lot of issues from like climate change related issues from Pakistan, which was very, very, very interesting. And their feedback on that, that okay, like this can happen around this in this
Yeah.
area and all that. So
Um,
research wise, I
Sorry for
yeah.
interrupting, but kind of I'm thinking about sustainability a lot, and now that you have experienced sustainability in Pakistan and Austria or European country, did anything
Mhm.
stood out for you that this is what I thought about sustainability, but this is what sustainability looks like? Any difference here? Any shocker?
Yeah, there are a lot of them. I think the way just common people look at sustainability or like what it means to them to be sustainable versus like how it is in Europe and how it's in Pakistan, it's very different, I guess. People here, I feel like because the spaces of nature is very much conserved and there are very strict policies for instance, like waste collection,
Yeah.
waste disposal, and like transport and like public transport is very, there is a huge public transport infrastructure and it's also very subsidized for people to use. So like the government or the people really want you to use less resource intensive substitutes. And I think we like, or maybe in Pakistan, we are not in quite that direction. It still is very much focused on automobiles and um like uh yeah, fossil fuels and very, very resource intensive. Even when look at the landscape of renewable energy in Pakistan,
Yeah.
now I think we are at this point where we have a lot of demand of renewable energy, but it's not really derived by structural changes. It's more like, okay, what is more financially efficient? And so I think we also had this discussion in our classes that like low or middle income countries, where do they stand sustainability wise? And for them, like their economic growth is more important than focusing on investing in sustainability related issues. Then in European countries who are very economically doing well and they don't have to like care about their economic growth so much. So they also have resources to spend money on their sustainability related policies. So I think it's also a different like standpoints economically where they stand, which stood out to me the most. And yeah, I think and in terms of like policies, which I'm mostly mainly specializing in, like there's also huge different landscape of different and frameworks of policies that are applicable to both. Like some policies that are here, I cannot go into Pakistan and like,
Yeah.
go to lawmakers and be like, okay, you should also implement those policies because you're like the public would be very averse to it. Like if we ban plastic bags from Karachi, like this won't
Yeah.
work in immediate action, right? So
So
things
that
like that.
the reason I was just kind of making this comparison was if you could go back to, if you remember, because I remember my Fulbright application as well. I'm a Fulbright scholar.
Hmm.
We know we do need to return back to our home country, whether it's a personal choice or the bond of the scholarship requirement, whatever it is. But ultimately, be thinking about, as an applicant, maybe be thinking about how you can bridge what you are learning in an international program and what you can take away from those and apply to your home country. It may not be exactly like fully what is going on in that host country, but how do you bridge that gap or in your letter of motivation? Anything here to advise?
Think yeah, that's a very critical point as well, and that's a very important point as well. The way I did it was that I would mainly even, and I've applied to exchange programs as
Yeah,
other times as well, even for my application to sister program, which was what I did for my summer semester. I was always very much into cross cultural learnings. And um, I think in my motivation letter, I was mainly focusing on that. Okay, like I want to learn the existing scholarship that exists on like climate policy research.
yeah,
And I wanted to research in Pakistan and like choose and mix and adapt those frameworks into applying and into combating climate change or like environmental degradation
yeah,
in Pakistan. So like very like in a very simplified sense, I think I want to learn the theory and I want to see how what is the circumstances in Pakistan, and I want to, adapt that theory in a way that it works for the climate issues in Pakistan.
yeah,
And and I think I it helped because what even if you look at my bachelor's, which was economics and maths, we mostly learned a lot of statistical skills, which you can apply anywhere. It's not like
yeah,
a lot of modeling skills, a lot of just like methodological skills that you can go into any areas of research or themes and you can apply, right?
yeah,
Um, and that I did. Like in my previous courses, I mostly reapplied or relearned or like in a different context skills that I learned in my bachelor's. I did it for master's. So in a way, a lot of my bachelor's and master's are very much connected. It's just like same skills but different areas of content or like different areas of research or different themes of research, like
yeah.
going from econometrics to like sustainability or like climate change or policy research, like bit more diverse focus.
Yeah, I think you could be in climate finance because you are just bringing everything with you, and it is very emerging now. Probably not for in South Asia maybe, but it's very emerging like modeling, prediction, and all that. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that, and I think that's like a really advantage of the STEM slash social sciences program of my like the nature of my program was very versatile, which allowed me to like I think take that leap as well
Mhm.
without like compromising too much on my experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so glad that you found this program, and that's why you carry this program. It's very prestigious to me, and I feel very privileged because it's like the right fit for where I need to be from where I'm going from here. Okay,
yeah.
when you kind of reflect back, any personal reflection outside of academics, anything that you think was a disappointment, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I think you talked about this earlier as well. You wanted to be in Netherlands, but you ended up in.
Yeah, yeah. I think that when the decision came and there was like a huge confusion because this program in Ireland was also offering me some scholarship, and this program was not really without scholarship. But like it was like it had an exchange semester and it was really prestigious. So I was really confused on what to do. And I think, yeah, I just was like, okay, I believe in myself and I can, yeah, I can also like,
Yeah,
there was just like a lot of moments. Hello?
yeah,
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I was a bit disappointed when the decisions came through, and I was in a very tough place because I had this another opportunity with Ireland, which was also offering me a scholarship, and this program where I wanted to go to Netherlands was also like I think I was like, okay, should I take it or not? And I was in a really weird place, but I made this decision because I was like, okay. I hope this brings up a lot of opportunities. And even in that case, if I compared Ireland situation to like this program, this was cheaper also in a way. And it worked out really well because when I came here in my home university, we found out that we would be getting Erasmus funding for our mobility semester. So yeah, and I also ended up getting scholarship for my mobility semester. through which, like, I think I was allowed to travel and I was allowed to do things that I would have done maybe with the scholarship that might have gotten with Ireland. So I think it was really, really, I was really happy and I was really, really, really grateful that it worked out in a way that it did. And I think just maybe like a one more thing I think that genuinely have helped me a lot is just being very, very reflective of what I want to do with everything and what I really like. Because otherwise, I think it's very easy to also get demotivated with things
Yeah,
if you do not like doing them and if you're doing just to, I don't know, earn money or like, which is important. I think like for some people, they don't also have that privilege to follow their passions or their interests. But I think this is what even with the people or my juniors who come to me and I'm like, be very, very transparent and truthful about what you really want to do with your interests and with your skills. So yeah,
I think I'm going to have a little more fun with you because I don't want to end the chat. But yeah, I
yeah.
will just kind of like ask you when you say be very reflective. If you could
Hmm.
explain, because I've had a very hard time explaining to my community people what reflection means in writing and generally like if you're meditating, what does reflection look like?
I think I mostly reflect by journaling a lot, just like whatever comes into my brain, write down.
Yeah,
And also reading about it a lot. I am a huge reader, and I don't only read books, I read a lot of academic articles or newsletters, and yeah, I'm always reading. And so reading and what comes into your mind and how it aligns with your values, how it aligns with your core of your personality.
yeah,
And for me, reflection means okay, what I am and was in the past and what I want to be in the future, and how the present of myself can go towards that future. And it,
yeah,
of course, it always it's a as it's reflection, it's always reflexive, right? It keeps changing. Hey, the things that I wanted 2 years ago, I don't want them anymore now
yeah,
because I am changed by my circumstances, right? So I think it's different. It looks different for everyone, right? How they reflect and what helps them reflect. But for me, it always has been writing and just also talking about it with my friends, with my family, with my brother, who has also been a very special part of my journey as well. And getting encouragement from them. And
yeah.
yeah, also my academic supervisors and them encouraging me. So like that has always been really, really helpful, talking and writing and just thinking, I guess.
Thank you so much. I think
Yeah.
really helped me, like kind of reinforce for me that okay, this is the reflection. And I think as someone coming from humanities or social sciences, they might find it easier compared to engineers, tech bros, or they would just be challenged a lot about reflection. But I think we all reflect in different ways, but you're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
thank you enough. I'm very grateful
Or
to be here with you. You have shared such wisdom with us, and I'm very grateful to you. Thank you very much.
thank you very much. It was lovely to be here and
Thank
talking to
you.
you.